Welcome to Beyond Time Signatures. So today with us we have Mr. Yogendra Hari Prasad, who is the founding member of the band Pineapple Express. So welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, guys, and you can call me Yogi. Let's not go the very long route with
Sure,
with my name.
sure. So yeah, man. If you can just give a short introduction about yourself and what do you do, that would be great.
Well, my name's Yogi, and I've been doing music as long as I can possibly remember. It started off from the very fact that my mom's a musician, and she's been doing this for over 90% of her life. So it's like over 50 years now. And it comes from that side of the family. I started singing at the age of 3. And from then on, I guess life has, to a very large extent, revolved around music with or without my knowledge. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I went to a reality show called Saregamapa when I was 15. Uh, After I won that show, life took on a very different trajectory for me. I knew I wanted to do music for life. And yeah, I discovered a software called FL Studio sometime around then. And life has never been the same ever since. I still use it to this day. I make uh, rock and metal music on FL Studio, which I take a lot of pride in. And yeah, man, I've delved into production, I've delved into mixing, mastering, live sound, and very recently, live lighting and visual design as well. So it's the entire live music side of
Spectrum.
things that have been intriguing me for a very long time. And yeah, I love getting things right. So that's probably the biggest descriptor of how I would put myself. I like getting things right. My name's Yogi, and I like getting things right.
Awesome. That's great, man. So like, how was it like growing up in a musical household?
Mom used to play Carnatic music mainly, and she plays an instrument called the veena, and so that sound was almost very constant. It was there throughout 24/7, and she maintains that I do music because even when she was pregnant with me, she played a ton of concerts, and she said I would kick when I seem to have enjoyed the music. So it comes from there. So the household was entirely filled with Carnatic music for as long as I can remember. I started off learning Carnatic music from her because of that, and I think I owe so much to the foundation that that music gave me. So all thanks to this household that I by chance ended up in.
Damn, man, that's pretty nice. Do you have any question regarding that?
Yeah, just a follow up. How was the transition from your roots in Carnatic music all the way into metal? Also, that's
Oh, hi,
Mickey.
Kat.
There's two. There's one more. He'll come in sometime. But
Ah,
yeah.
okay. So after Carnatic music, I started learning Hindustani music from Pandit Anant Bhagwat for about 3 or so years. And uh,
She's just gonna be here, dude. That's fine.
yeah, that's very cute. Okay. After that, that's when Saregamapa happened. So then it was suddenly all film music and all of these songs from all of these decades till about 2010, which is when the competition happened. So owing to all of those experiences, I slowly started opening up from Carnatic and devotional music to slightly more modernized versions of Indian music from the Kannada film industry. And then sometime around when I was about 15 or 16, one of my very close friends, his name's Nitesh, and Nitesh was our drummer in this band called the E03 Project, which we started, which was my first band basically. And he went on to then play drums for the Raghu Dikshit project, and he now lives in Germany. So
Wow.
he showed me Dream Theater.
Okay.
One very fateful day in a parking lot. of this show that I was playing with my mom. He was like, I need to show you some music. And we go sit in his car, quiet parking lot. Everyone's in this wedding that we're playing at. Everyone's having fun. We're out here listening to progressive metal, and me for the very first time. And it blew my mind. I heard two songs called The Mirror from their album Awake, and a cover of Deep Purple's Perfect Strangers that I still maintain changed my life entirely. I was like, what the fuck is all of this? Like, I don't know music like this. Going suddenly from the music that I had been listening to not Linkin Park, to not Michael Jackson or Britney Spears or anyone at that time, but straight up to Dream Theater. That was insane. That was a very pivotal moment in my life, and so thanks, Nitesh, for doing that to me.
Shout out.
Shout
Shout.
out, indeed. So I also have heard that you dropped out of college to pursue music,
Yeah,
right?
that happened.
So how was that? I mean, that's so unheard of as an Indian, dropping out of college and stuff. Firstly, it takes balls. Secondly, it takes self-confidence. Firstly, so what was your thought process like initially? Because I mean, as a 18, 19-year-old kid, conformity is where you're at. Doing your own
Right.
shit is not second nature to you. So how was it like?
Um, it was tedious. It was not a decision that I made overnight or something like that. And my mom is still pissed with me till date. She's like, why don't you go study? Why don't you go get a degree or something? I'm like, Ma, it's been close to a decade now. Like, I think we should get over it. So, anyway, so I was in college. I was doing great. I loved what I was doing in college. I was doing engineering and information science. Did that for a year. I was good at it. I enjoyed it. But somewhere through that process, I realized that there's something that I'm better at than I am at this, and that there aren't too many others like me who could do the things that I want to do in music. So I figured one day, I think a switch did go off. It was an instantaneous thing in that sense, where I was like, okay, this is what I have to do. And for that, I need to give all my time. It's essentially like starting school again. You do 10 years of school and then 2 years of pre-university education. That's what we call it, 11th and 12th. Back here, it's called pre-university education. And you guys did that, obviously, didn't you?
Yeah, we're from here, bro.
I did too. So, and then it hit me that if I were to do music, it's essentially like jumping from zero to engineering in the first place. If I want to do music seriously, it's not something that you can just start off and be successful at right off the bat. So it's going to take time. So that awareness I had, and what that awareness meant to me was an input of a large amount of time. And for that, I needed time that college didn't essentially give me to explore what I wanted to explore. So I thought about it, and then I finished my second sem exams just so my parents wouldn't call me a loser. They'd be like, oh, you suck at it, so you just want to, escape writing these exams because you suck at it. So I completed my exams. I got my first class with distinction. I said, okay, look, I can do this, but I need your support now. I want to do something else. This is my calling. It's calling out to me. It's saying, okay, you're meant for something else altogether. And I took that step. I just didn't show up at college after that. And it was 6 months of my mom not talking to me. But my dad was a rock through all of that. He was like, okay, you want to do it, give it a shot. Try it for some time. If it fails, you can always go back to this. And I told them that the very reason I want to do it this way is so that I have nothing to go back to. Having something to go back to as a fail-safe would probably mean that I won't give it my everything, and it's going to bog me down sooner or later that, okay, I'm not making enough progress, or it's not fast enough, or money isn't being generated soon enough. So I want to give it the time. I need to sow the seed. It needs to become a sapling, and then a plant, and then finally a tree someday. So yeah, I dropped out of college for that.
Damn, man. What you just said about like having the safety net wouldn't probably allow you to like go full send. I mean, that makes a lot of sense in retrospect now. So that's pretty good. And also, Manav, this is like a combined question to both of you. So you started off Pineapple Express, and I've also seen some of the like you appeared on some TV news channels and played a set and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. Um, and early on, Manav, didn't you guys perform alongside Pineapple Express in a Battle of Band? And what was the conclusion of that?
Ages ago.
What was that? I want
Ages
to
ago.
tell me about it.
Okay, so in Bangalore, this is 2014, 2015. I think this is around the inception of Pineapple Express, even before the name was in place. I don't remember.
That's around when, yeah.
I used to play with my school band, and the first song I tried singing was like "So Far Away" by Avenged Sevenfold, and I didn't hit any note. It was a pain. I was a keyboardist at that time. Yeah, I remember this happening, I think, at Forum Kormangla, if I'm not wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there were quite a few bands that took part in that competition. Yogi's band was one of them. My school band was one of them. But there was this one specific band called Fundamental, okay, from Bishop Cotton's boys' school. 14-year-olds, all of them as old as me. I think Yogi's around 6 years older to us. I think, 94, yeah, Yogi.
94.
Yeah, 94.
9 years to me.
9 years to you. Yeah. Fundamental essentially was a bunch of like, I think 4 or 5 guys, all my age. And these guys at 14 used to get on stage and kill Iron Maiden, Master of Puppets, Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden was like kill. And they consistently won Battle of Bands. Consistently.
I've been whooped myself.
2018, I go to one of the local, so college fests are a big thing in India. And in Mysore, before I moved to Dubai, there's this college that I don't remember the name of, but I saw that a band is playing. It turned out to be Pineapple Express. I didn't know Yogi who had Pineapple Express at that time. I didn't know what Pineapple Express was. And yeah, that was the first time I saw Pineapple Express, 2017, 2018. And I haven't seen them since, dude. I haven't seen them live since. So that was the first time these guys actually like pulled off Anthem, the Taka Taka Thai Thai song, ever. Like in front of my eyes at least. And it was sick. It was sick. It was a small, nice, cute stage and an audience that didn't give a shit about rock music. It was very cute. And people that cared. But to see them have come so far from, the inception of where they were back in 2014 or even in 2017, it's insane, dude. It's insane. And they're like one of the only bands that I've seen that's grown in the reverse way. They've garnered an audience because of their live performance first, and then people go listen to their music online.
Damn.
It's
that's so
yeah, it's the
interesting.
reverse, bro. It's so cool. But yeah, bro. Yeah, that's how this connection somehow.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, Nexus kind of things. But yeah, I'm very curious because like Pineapple Express has been through so like a few member changes throughout the years, and the band dynamics keep on changing and stuff. So like what's the driving force for the band?
I think it's the fact that we enjoy each other's company, and currently we'd rather make music only with each other and nobody else. So we're at that point where we feel solid about it. And over the years, yeah, we've had lineup changes. driven by various factors like your usual creative differences or all of that jack, essentially. So you think of a reason, it's probably happened. So yeah, we've had changes, we've had additions. We started off small, became like we were a 9-piece act at a certain point. We're in 2018 or 19 or something like that, and now we're back to a good 5 people.
5 piece.
Yeah.
I've got 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 1 is, to put together a band like Pineapple Express, do you as a person have to go through the transitional phase that you went through where you dropped everything for music and commit to 100%? Because I personally, being a musician myself, haven't come across a lot of people like that who's been willing to put aside everything and, be in a band with me. Me also, for that matter. I haven't been able to do something like that.
Right.
2, I know your bandmates, most of them are full-time musicians. How do you find people like that? What do you need to do as a creator, as somebody that wants to form a band? How do you find band members like Pineapple Express who are willing to give it all?
I've always maintained that I'm very lucky that way. The universe has somehow brought me to the right people at the right time, more often than not. Some wrong people as well, but mostly right. So it's worked out. I don't think I ever went out of my way to search for someone to do a specific role in the band. As and when it happened, it just felt right. Like, I wasn't looking for Casey or Jyotish or Ujjwal or Arjun. They just happened to travel into my life at a point where it just made sense to, ask them, do you want to do this? And it was just a matter of odds, dude. They happened to have the bandwidth for it back then, and we were able to build something together because of that. I do think you need someone with this attitude where, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I will give up everything else to see this grow into its fullest potential. So
that's your prerequisite.
That's a prerequisite, I think, to at least during the formative stages of something, something as deep as this, where you want to stick together as well. It's not like we drop a release and then we fuck off and no one hears about us ever again. You know some of those bands. There's bands that come, drop some bangers, and then you're like, man, where did these guys go? I didn't want to be a story like that. So
yeah, I mean, it's true though. Like, I've been in 12 bands myself, and my reason of asking this question is because, unfortunately, I haven't had the luck of meeting people like that. Maybe one. I have one person, yes, but yeah, man, it's always either life gets in the way for other band members and they lose commitment and focus.
Correct.
Or just, I don't know. It's just the lack of focus in general, and treating this as a side gig keeps pulling the entire collective down.
I mean, we are no exception. We are no exception to that ourselves. We have the very same issues. Life does get in the way of Pineapple Express, be it for me or be it for my bandmates. We've just somehow managed to traverse through all of those hurdles and still make this happen, I suppose.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's also more of a, we've invested way too much into this already. Parts of our life, too much time, too much energy, blood, sweat, tears, money, you name it, it's gone into this already. And we don't want to see it sink. The ship is bigger than all of us. So we try to keep it afloat all the time.
Has it come close though to sinking?
On a few occasions, for sure. It has. And every week, every month, it is a fight to,
keep this alive.
keep it alive and thriving. Keeping it alive is one thing. So it's just like how people live life. There's existence and then there's living life. So if you spend most of your time in existence, it's going to hit you one day that you're probably not living. And that's the same way I look at this. It's got to thrive, it's got to succeed, it's got to do things and be useful to not just us, but add value to the world in a certain sense, even if it's like 2 hours of happiness for someone who listens to us live, or a few minutes of happiness for someone who even listens to one song. It's all the same to us. We love the fact that that is an effect that we can have on the world, and we'd like to keep doing that, not just exist, or not exist with a motive to make money or say, okay, this is why we are doing this. There's no real reason. We are doing this because it's become a part of us. Yeah.
Interesting. So there's no case of it being like a sunk cost fallacy situation. It
is. I mean, it's every time we have, obviously, like I said, you have life getting in the way. Everyone's at this age where marriage is a thing, or financial responsibilities are a huge thing, and being a band isn't the easiest. You don't know when you're going to make money. You're going to make money, sure, but when is it going to come? No one knows. When how many shows am I going to have this month or the next? You never know. But like I said, you already invested so much into this. You'd not like to see it fail or get sunken. So we put our best foot forward and we keep doing it, and we will keep doing it for as long as we can.
Hell yeah, man.
Okay,
that's
solid, bro. Priyak, I have one more question and then you can take. Is that fine?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just on my brain's just working on a tangent right now. You mentioned about money.
Right.
Is there a general estimate for an artist, like for the amount of years an artist has got to put into his craft, or put into their craft, before they see like profit coming back, not revenue, profit? How many years was that for Pineapple Express? And
I'd say
just a follow-up question to that is how was dealing with the situation with COVID in the picture?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So it took me about, I'd say, 7 or 8 years for me to go to my mom and dad and say, okay, look, I'm finally making money from this. We did generate revenue before that, much before that, but
it goes back into the band.
It goes back into the band. It goes back into
for obvious reasons. Yeah.
This space that I'm sitting in right now, for instance.
Correct.
So it's all built and renovated and redone, and gear comes in from Pineapple money. So that's a nice system we've got going on. We save money from our shows for that. So over a period of time, the percentage of how much we saved went all the way from 100% where we made no money to now a small minuscule percentage where we make more money and the savings are a lot lesser because we don't need to be saving as much, and the amount of revenue has increased. So yeah, and I think I've spoken to Manav about this. Subhash from Gravity Talent, our management, has been with Pineapple Express since the very beginning. So we've seen each other grow, and he started off with Pineapple Express, and now he's doing great things as well, which means over the years, he started generating so much more revenue for us as we wrote and released music and, worked on how to make our shows better. He worked on the business side of things and took that to the next level for us to be, satiated to a large extent with the money that we're making from Pineapple Express. It isn't all that's enough to, have us lead a very comfortable life or anything, but it's at a great spot where it's enough, and then you also have a little bit of time to do other things and make more money. So it took about 7-ish years for us to get to that stage.
That's a fair number.
This is because we both started from scratch. stories nowadays are a lot different. The very first show that we played was a show where the entire band made 6,000 rupees, right? And uh, that could probably buy each band member about 2 meals
Yeah,
after
yeah,
this.
pretty
That's
much.
that's where we started off from. And stories nowadays are different. If you're good at what you do, you've probably taken time to hone in your craft and all of that, but so many agencies and labels identify talents now, and there's also Instagram and TikTok and a lot of other ways to get famous apart from just releasing music. And when you do, you can significantly increase how much money you make from the very beginning, from the get-go. So that's happening. But with our story, it took us about 7 to 8 years. Yeah. And what was your follow-up question again?
A follow-up question was, how did you deal with the entire
COVID.
profit? COVID, yeah.
Yeah. So the day before COVID, the lockdown hit, we were doing what is probably one of my top 5 shows ever at this college called TKMC in Kollam. We had an incredible show. It was an incredible month, and we were packed. Our schedules were packed. We were doing 8-9 shows a month, and during season times, that is. There's obviously the off-season months where there were like 0 to 3 shows a month, but during that specific season, we were so busy. There was a month, I think it was February, where I had 15 shows in the 28 days that the month had, and it was impossible to keep up. And
Yeah,
we went from that. We came back from the show, and it hit us that for the foreseeable future, an indefinite amount of time, we'd probably have nothing to do. We went from meeting thousands of people a month, showing our music and putting our hearts and souls out in the open on stage, giving it our all, sleepless nights, all of which we enjoyed, to having to not even get out of our own homes. So that hit hard, and we lost it for many weeks. We couldn't even meet each other. We had nothing to do with music for a very short period of time, and then we sat down and we made Passages. So lockdown is probably the only reason that we actually came together. We had to use our time somehow, and we were all so zoned in, so into Pineapple Express at that point of time, and Passages just flowed. It happened. It was the fastest record we've made. It was the most collaborative one within the band, and it felt great. So COVID was mostly mitigated. It felt better than it should have, because we were able to do Passages in that time. But the financial impact was, again, quite bad. Thankfully for us, we had the insane before that. So there was no worry. It kept us afloat and then some, until things started getting back. Yeah.
Solid, bro. I was just telling Prerak before the call started that Passages dropped on my birthday in 2020. And it was the same day Metallica dropped S&M2, the live version. And I was just telling him that Passages was a much finer birthday gift in general. So,
you're a kind guy.
Yeah, dude. Passages was fantastic, man. Do you need another massive break like that to come out with The Duelist?
I don't know if that's a shot at the speed at which I work, but yeah, it's been too long, man. I think we should be releasing stuff. There is an album in the works. It's got a few tracks. It's got about 8 songs, and I can't say much more. But yeah, life is in the way. We're getting to it. It'll come out soon, and my manager is on my ass. He's not the happiest of guys. Yeah. I feel bad myself, dude. Yeah, this shit needs to go out soon. It'll happen.
I have a question for you. Like, our last guest was Christian Logaglio, and
Oh, my
yes,
G.
yes, Logi.
Oh,
So the first thing when I told, like, we got on the call, so he just asked me, "Do you know the guys from Pineapple Express?" And sadly, I had to say no because I didn't know you, matlab,
ah,
personally. But so then he was like, he used to get on long Skype calls with you and Jyotish with writing sessions, I assume. So I'm just curious, like, what were those sessions about?
no, they were not writing sessions. They were beer drinking sessions. So I love the guy. I love his music. I love Colby.
Same.
I love Galia Social. It's my favorite music in the world. I don't listen to a lot of music, firstly. So my sample pool isn't the biggest. And I don't enjoy a lot of music that I listen to either. Manav knows I'm very picky.
Yeah, man.
There are some very famous
It's been a
artists
pain.
that he enjoys, and I'm just like, man, I can't.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Manav's
It's
like,
been a
what the
pain.
fuck, man? This is great. And I'm like, man, it's just not my thing. So, but Galia Social, holy fuck. What
Yeah.
a band, what music. Christian is,
He's the best guitar
Insane.
teacher and player.
yeah, easily. He's
We
genius.
should have seen the last episode. The last episode was Prerak, Christian, and two other guitarists just nodding out.
Like,
That's
literally.
This was what? It was just freaking nodding out, dude.
Like,
I am so glad I didn't join that episode. I would have been outcasted, bro. As a vocalist, I would have no space.
that was literally a 15 to 20 minute session about modes on melodic minor and why the first mode
Yeah.
is the one that people use but not the other modes, like Lydian
Yeah.
dominant and stuff. So like it was a great episode. I think you'll enjoy that one if you
I
were
will.
to watch that.
Anything with Christian on it, I will enjoy. He's genius. He's just the very best. I will maintain that till I die. He's the very best. It doesn't get
Absolutely.
better than that guy. It's as simple as that. His music is it's the epitome of music itself for me.
And one thing he said really, like, made me connect a lot is like he said that people in India are very against each other. So like, oh, he's from this side of the town, fuck him. He's from this side of the town, fuck him. So like, he got that from you, he said. And I was like, yeah, that's true.
Oh, I mean, I was telling him how it works here, how, there we aren't very geared towards progress in our own music scene, apart from a few communities where everything floats and everyone's very supportive of each other. There's always this very crooked sense of, oh, this guy is really good at what he does, but if he falls, it makes way for me to shine. That attitude exists here big
Bang.
time, and that's what I was telling Christian about. So
that's
it's
fair.
very prevalent, man. It's not easy to find people who, with all their heart, just want to see you succeed, or just appreciate the art. There's always the human aspect involved there. Yeah, so that exists. Yeah, it
Because
does.
like while you're
Since we've,
going on top, you'd probably I'm so sorry, Manav, but while you're probably going on top, like people will cheer for you, but once you reach there, they'll be like, oh shit, I could have been there, but now he's there. So
Yeah.
why should we, like, then they start hating or stuff like that, I assume.
Yeah, there is a general sense of entitlement in so many small ways or big ways. Everyone's expected to, by default, respond to everyone else, or people believe that they are entitled to knowledge or resources or whatever. It just exists. There is a certain sense of entitlement. Oh, he thinks he's so big that he won't respond to me, or stupid shit like that.
not really, but yeah.
Yeah. Huh?
No, I'm just saying not really, because that's usually the stereotype that exists around big artists. But the second you message them, they've gone through their own journey that teaches them humility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that sense,
Um,
what I was getting at was that this sense of entitlement does not need to come by default. No one should be entitled to anyone's time or whatever. So
Since we've opened a can of worms, it's a very interesting trio we have on this call right now, because Prerak is a solo artist.
right.
I have had a progressive metal band in a different country altogether. And Yogi, you have a fusion band which does heavy music with the indie elements in a scene like Bangalore, which is like, the biggest scene out there. How has local scenes taken basically what are local scenes thoughts about Pineapple Express's music, praise music, and then I'll let you know what happened with us.
Okay.
Have they been supportive? Have they not been supportive over the years? Shit like that.
Weirdly enough, the support was strongest when we started off. And what I mean by that is when we started off, there were, let's just say our songs were less accessible to a normal listener. And
Which EP is this? The Uplift?
pre-EP times. This is before all our releases.
Oh, okay.
This is when we were hustling around the scene, playing these really small gigs and all of that, where it's just you don't essentially make a lot of money. You're just playing with a few bands on a lineup at, I don't know, the Humming Tree or Indigo Live back when they existed. The support was great. And then slowly as we put out music and it started getting less time signature-y or sounded more and more well-produced, it was weird that I started hearing things about how, okay, these guys are just another band that sells out or stuff like that. So those two selling out.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, this is still music that I want to do, so it really doesn't matter what you think. That happened, but support's still great. As the years have gone on, the support from bigger artists has been incredible, and it just goes on to show that the people who traverse the longer journey learn more lessons and they understand what goes into putting out music or just any kind of product. And support's been great. We're very grateful to so many people who speak about us in public, who actually get the word out there to the fans that they've earned with their hard work. It's very cool of all of these people to be doing that for us. And we've done a couple of collabs with say Benny Dayal or Salim Merchant.
A long time ago.
Yeah, so such sweet guys, and not an aorta of oh, I'm bigger than you, or I've done all of this, you're just a band. None of that. It's so
Have you seen your fair share of that though?
Not really, dude. Not really.
Good. No, it's good.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
But I also feel like that exists.
For sure.
Just because someone treats you a certain way, it does not mean that they don't treat other people a different way, right? So their outlook towards you might be biased because they probably enjoy what you do, or they respect you for it, or they admire you for it. And then their behavior towards you is very different compared to when they don't see you of value. So it does exist in the industry, and of course it's prevalent. But I don't seem to have been in the receiving end of that, so I can't comment.
Good. Fair enough. But what about you, bro? How with the 3 singles that have been that you put out recently? How has the scene taken towards it? Each single has had a different style.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the funny thing that you said that once you started having more well-produced songs and less time signature songs, like our podcast name is Beyond Time Signatures, and that's what that is like. I think by the time I wrote my third song, it just came to me that I don't have to add a time signature if it's not serving a purpose of the song. Yeah. And funny enough, the time signatures on my latest track, it's all over the place. Like one of them is like a 13/8 plus 12/8, but with a shuffle groove on top, so that it doesn't feel out of place for even people who don't, know music per se. They are like, oh yeah, shit, cool groove, man. So as long as it's groovy, it doesn't have to be like very tacky time signature thing. As long as it's groovy, it's fine. And
Right.
by the time I've written my third song, I've realized that it's all about like, you know, I recorded, like, you know, I tried guitar standing up because that's how I imagined, like, you know, I want to play live this song. So I need to track like that so that, you know, I get the feeling of playing that way. And what response I've gotten is like one thing, like, you know, people are saying, bro, you should start playing shows. I'm like, yes, bro, but I don't have the gear right now.
Uh,
But once I get the gear, I mean, I'm a digital baby, bhai. I've never played through an amp, like, you know, properly. I started off with the modelers and stuff, so I don't have that logistical
Yeah.
thing to, like, you know, play live. But I have all the sessions ready. I mean, I literally played in a technical seminar in my college. Like I played I played progressive metal in a technical seminar once.
Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of.
In a very weird way, it makes
Fine.
sense.
Yeah. That's fine.
So, but yeah, I mean, I literally, like, you know, I would love to open for Plini because I feel I can do that. Like, you know, the next time he comes here, by the time I'll have like 5-6 songs ready to. But that's the thing, right? You know, I haven't performed anywhere else, so, like, you know, there's not enough incentive for these guys to, like, you know, ask me to play for Plini directly. For now, it's just writing good music. That's the game. What
Good,
about you,
keep
man?
at it.
Hey, Yogi has a very interesting story around Plini.
What story?
Super cool.
Oh
You
yeah,
tell me, bro.
please.
Which story?
The one where you did the lights.
Oh
And
shit!
you didn't have. Yeah.
I think I was playing a Pineapple Express show the day before Plini played in Bangalore, and so I was just like, man, I have nothing to do tomorrow, and I've been obsessed with lights. So I've been obsessed with lights because I hate it when I fucking hate it when there's no connect between the music and the lighting. Even if it sounds great and it's visually not pleasing, like I'm like, oh man, I've paid so much money for this ticket and so many others around me have, and you're all not giving a fuck about how it looks. Like it's very pissing off. So I was like, not doing anything tomorrow. Can I do lights? I sent a text to Subhash, and he was like, sure. And so on the flight back, I downloaded the entire set list, put it in my ears, learned all of the songs that I didn't know fully well. I knew most of it because I love the guy. I love his music, and I've been listening to him for a long, long, long time. So did that. I made a layout on a piece of paper of what button I wanted to do what job. So I had already imagined all of this, and
Nice.
landed back in Bangalore, went straight to the venue, did a nice light check, and ran the show, and they were very happy with it. So
Sick,
it's very
man.
cool.
Sick.
Don't be humble about this. They offered to take you on tour.
No, I mean,
Yeah, they did.
Wait, really?
Kind of. Yeah.
I
You told me.
don't think that happened.
Somebody told me this. I don't
think
Maybe
I told
Subhash
you.
told me this or you told me.
Yeah, I
Maybe
don't think I
Subhash.
told you this.
Probably.
And if
But
they
yeah.
did, I should probably know about it, but I don't. Someone tell me. I had to make
Okay,
me.
fine. But
That's so sick.
sick story, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went great. I enjoyed doing what I did,
Yeah.
but I don't think Plini really enjoys my music. So there's also that.
That's fine,
I
dude.
mean, that would.
Each to their own, I guess.
Huh?
Each to their own, I guess. I mean, you
Yeah,
can't
each
really
to their
force-
own. So
Yeah.
Also, I caught you live, like, you know, mixing for the Arch concert. I was at the Weekender, and
Oh,
like,
shit.
they
Nice.
sounded really good. I mean, I was at the back and I was in the front too, and it sounded very awesome.
Thank you.
And I mean, after that, I guess Damien Lowe did the front of house for Monuments,
Monuments, yes.
and both of you guys sounded pretty great. So I was really happy that, you know, hey, I mean, but I didn't know. I mean, you didn't know me, and back then, so I wanted to come and approach you, but I was like, bro, I mean, he would be
Yeah, I
like,
was
"Arey,
right. It was a tough gig, dude. The
Yeah.
systems were straight. They weren't set up to
Damn.
perfection, like how I'd expect a festival like Weekender, would do. A lot of issues, and they didn't take very kindly to an engineer showing up and telling them, "Key, this is not done right." And they didn't understand science, and I was not a very happy man. So it's probably good we didn't meet that day, and we're meeting now. So there's that.
So I'm just curious, like, you know, Like, why do most of Indian venues don't sound good?
That's not true.
I was
Who told you that?
I mean, okay, this is my perception from the venues that I've been to in Mumbai, especially. I mean, probably the Bangalore scene is a lot different. I went to Carnival, like space. The space is all I have open for them. Like that show sounded really sick. But
Uh,
I keep listening a lot of
when did
complaints.
Spaces All we have open for Carnival? Oh, in Delhi.
No, in Bangalore.
They
We
opened
did
in Delhi.
for Tesseract.
That's right.
No, I'm pretty sure they opened for Carnival as well. Ujjwal didn't play the show that day.
Oh, that was My Conscience. That's
No,
KC's
That,
band.
that
that was
was
my
my
conscience.
conscience.
That
Oh,
was
my bad.
yeah,
My
that's
bad.
Casey's
Yeah.
band.
My bandmate from Pineapple Express. It's KC's band. It's called My Conscience, and Ujjwal's the drummer, yes, and he wasn't free,
Yeah.
so Gopi played drums for that show. Gopi was Pineapple Express's drummer as well.
Extra man.
I see.
And
I see.
Jyotish plays
How
some.
is he, by the way?
Hmm?
How's Gopi doing?
Gopi's doing good. He's fully recovered and he's on tour with Hari Shankar most of the time, so he's killing it.
Solid. Okay, good.
But yeah, I see a lot of people complaining about the fact that, the venues don't sound the way they should sound for.
Oh, that's balls. It doesn't sound good because someone's fucking up. It doesn't sound good because someone's not doing their job right. It's as simple as that.
Okay. So what are the problems that you find are present that can be solved very easily?
Where did you watch them? At Phoenix Market City?
Yeah, but also at some other places like Nesco. I mean, Animals as Leaders were there. I mean,
Oh, recently.
yeah.
How did that sound for you?
I would say better, but since Animal's style is so unique and stuff, like it wasn't sounding
Relax.
exactly the best from every single part. Obviously, like, if I'm sitting very next to the mixing desk, it was sounding great, but at the front, it was just subs
Mm-hmm.
and stuff.
I mean, so you watched Carnival at
Bangalore.
Phoenix
Yeah.
City, and I watched Leprous at Phoenix Market City. And Leprous was a spiritual experience almost. It was incredible. They smashed it. It was on point. The mix was tremendous. So how is it the venue's fault if another band sounds bad? It just means that someone knew how to do their job right with Leprous, and someone who was doing it for another band didn't know how to do their job right. You can't. So here's how I look at it. Okay, so as a mixing engineer, as an FOH guy for any band, small, big, any genre, you can't show up at a venue and turn on a set of speakers and expect them to sound like how you imagine right off the bat, right? That's why you have tools. That's why you have a console. That's why you've got amps. That's why you've got equalizers. You've got smart. You've got alignment. You've got so many tools at your disposal just to get the job done right. So it's not the venue, my friend. I heard similar things about, this venue called Guilt in Bangalore. I can make it sound perfectly great there. And I think Manav was were you there at the Tesseract gig for Spaces All We Have? Yeah, so.
Well, I was with you, man. What?
Exactly, that was with me. So I just wanted to get that right. So you were there, right? So
It sounded insane. It sounded insane, dude.
Yeah, so when someone else watches another band at Guilt and says, okay, they didn't sound good, how is it Guilt's fault?
I see. Okay.
It's not Guilt's fault. It's not.
I have a different take on this altogether.
Go on.
I feel like sound is a very personal and subjective thing, and people, if you give them a chance to complain, they will. Number one. Number two. No, I'm not talking about Yogi. You have incredibly trained ears. You know exactly what you want when you're listening to a certain, to a certain speaker.
One would expect that anyone in the role of an FOH engineer would have a trained set of ears by default, right? Like, I think that's a basic requirement. So
sure,
yeah.
Sure. But I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that go on the Instagram page and then drop in like a 15,000 comments saying, "Oh shit, change venue. Why this? Why that?"
Correct.
I have a feeling that they themselves don't know how to differentiate between what a good sound sounds like.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to, right? Like. They're the audience. They're not supposed. All they're supposed to use are the words good and bad, because they're not supposed to use words like, okay, this had too much bass or this was too harsh. They're not supposed to tell you that. All they're supposed to do is come and get value for their money, to
But
get an
how?
experience. So you said sound is very subjective. You're right. Okay. Sound is subjective. But that would mean there is no such thing as a bad mix. So if I went,
Yeah, if people listen to black metal so happily,
sure,
no, just
sure.
I'm
So
just
if
saying.
I went to a sound gig and I said sound is subjective, so I'm going to unmute all the tracks. That's it. Any mix is subjective, right? So why would I do anything? So there is, what I'm trying to get at is, there is a certain sense of objectivity, and I will explain what that entails. So in a mix, you're looking for all the things to be heard live. One, uh, a pleasant kind of rapport and balance between all of the elements of the mix, right? And some kind of separation between all of those elements, such that you can tell, okay, ये kick drum hai, ये snare drum hai, this is what that guy is playing, or this is what the guitarist on my right side is doing or the left side is doing. You'd want to be able to tell some things apart. At the same time, you also want it to sound like a unit. These are 4 very basic principles, or one giant philosophy of building a sound for an audience that has come to watch a band. And if you achieve all of them, I don't think too many people will have anything to complain about, unless your mix is like fucking loud and people go back home with like ringy ears. So I very, very, very rarely encountered people complaining about bands that I mix. And if they've complained, it's because they felt it's too loud. That's about it. Or too soft. That's about it. So there is objectivity in the sense that, okay, they've gone and they've felt without having the vocabulary to explain what they're feeling. In fact, all live shows are that, right? Like, why do you pay money to go watch a band? You enjoy their music. So when you're listening to their music, are you enjoying the C sharp dominant 7th chord?
No, not specifically. No.
You're just experiencing some pleasant frequencies hitting your ear. The exact blend of those, the exact dynamics and the volumes of those elements are hitting your brain in a certain way and making you enjoy them. If you're a person with no musical knowledge, that's what's happening to you. Same thing with lights, same thing with sound. Their audience cannot put into words exactly what's going into their brain as input, but the feelings that they generate are very easily describable for them in very simple words. Okay, that was a great show. That was fucking insane, bro. That was a great set. Oh man, that was so trippy. Adjectives, that's all they're supposed to use. And we should make sure that if we are at the job, if we hold a responsibility of catering to so many people's money, like their time, the effort they've spent in traveling so far to get to a venue to watch their favorite artist or someone that they really love, and they've come there, we should make that time worth it. So it falls upon every single human being running every single small little ship, which is a part of the bigger ship, to get their act together and do their fucking jobs. And that's something that I believe should be the norm, but is not always the case. And when people are shitting on something, we shouldn't say, okay, they always have something to complain about. I think they are to be taken seriously, because ultimately you're making music for them, or you're putting on an act for them, and they're the ones buying tickets. So to discard their opinion is meaningless, because you're doing all of what you do so they can enjoy it. So I take it very
What I
seriously.
meant by fair. No, that's solid, man. I'm talking about comments before the show, not after the show. But yeah.
Yeah, they've experienced it. I've seen these comments, I think, on a very recent announcement where they were like, Phoenix Market City, again, a shit sounding venue. It's not a shit sounding venue, dude. By no means. It's not. You can make things sound gorgeous. You can make it sound like an arena there. Just do it right. If you watched Leprous, anyone who's watching this, and if they watched Leprous with me that day, they'll agree. It's very simple. They sounded godlike. So if one band can get it right, anyone else can. Unless a human is fucked up in the process. That's the only explanation. The structure is the same. The stage is the same. Speakers are doing their jobs. I watched Leprous at a festival where most of the other bands sounded like shit. And then came Leprous and sounded great. So anyone else who was complaining about all of these things, I was like, are you hearing this? Like, are you hearing this? Same shit. Everything is the same. The same walls, the same everything, same speakers, same cables going into the speakers. What's your excuse? That's it.
So like it's more about the guy at the FOH than the venue
All
itself.
of your
Key
hard work
takeaway.
in the jam room, all of your hard work writing the music essentially falls upon that one dude in charge of making it sound good for you.
I see.
It all falls upon that one dude trying to make it look good for you. If they fuck up,
Doesn't
everything
matter. Yeah.
doesn't matter. All your hard work down the drain. That's why it's taken so many years for me to tell this to people. Like, give a shit about your sound. Give a shit about your lighting. Give a shit about all of these. All your hard work depends on that job. And you have no control over it. You're on stage.
Speaking of lighting, first of all, congratulations on your new venture,
thanks.
Visionary Luminary, right?
Yes.
So can you explain a little bit about what it is and what you plan to do with it?
I think about a year and a half or something ago, timelines are shit. Don't trust me. It's probably false. I came up with this lighting system, which probably no one does this way. So it's very unique. It runs on a DAW, and that's just the
Like
surface
with
of
MIDI?
it. Something like that, but it's a little more complex than that. And it works on so many light consoles. Doesn't matter what the fixtures are. So it's not like time code essentially. So it's very scalable, very modular, and over the months, me and Pineapple's lighting designer Sairam, who I got into the band once, this was getting solidified, and we've been working on it. We've been honing it in. We've been trying to perfect the system to, offer it as a solution to other artists, because I feel like there is a massive hole that we can fill in the market with respect to that. There's not a lot of fully pre-designed lighting gigs happening, along with the music for most artists. Only the topmost A-listers have it going on for them. And I want to try and make it a normal thing, make it like a default thing. Anyone that comes to watch a show gets their money's worth. So we did it for Pineapple Express. Over the months, we kept making it better and better. And finally, it reached a place where I felt like, okay, this is good. This is solid now. And so I started Visionary Luminary. And that's essentially it. We do fully synchronized, on time, modular, scalable lighting and visual pre-design for any live acts or shoots. You name it, we can probably do it. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
How long is the? Sorry, 1 second. Just curious, out of curiosity. How long is the turnover time between giving you a set list and getting the entire programming done?
So our first project was Bhumi 2024, Salim and Sulaiman's Bhumi 2024. So I finished the show with Pineapple Express recently in Fandom. So we did a sold out show there, and it took a fuck ton of time and effort to get the lights and all of that going on for that, because Pineapple music isn't easy to It's not simple.
Synchronize.
Yeah. So there's a lot of elements, and it was a small pub space, and I still wanted to give it that massive feeling. So I took a breather after that show, and I went to chill in Bombay for a bit. My cousin sister lives there, so yeah, I just go hang out. We chill. I've got a lot of friends there, so we hang out and do that. So on the last day there, I just felt like Visionary Luminary was still not a thing, by the way. So at that time, this is as recent as 25 days ago, I felt like I should go meet Salim sir and tell him, "Ki, I have this going on, and it's yours if you want it. I'm happy to do it for you." So I went, scheduled a meeting. Uh, the man had a flight to catch to Chicago, and still, when I said I want to pitch something to you, he came and met me half an hour before he had to leave. He was essentially late, but he still made time. That's the kind of guy he is. He's a godsend. I love him so much, and his CEO Shivansh as well. Both of them absolute gems of human beings. And I went and I pitched the idea to them. I told them exactly what this can do, and they coincidentally had Bhumi coming up, and they had just changed their set, the look of their entire set, and I had gone there 2 days after that for whatever reason, and it just added up. They said, "Let's do it." That's all it was. Let's do
Wow,
it.
nice.
It was a 10-song shoot featuring
Yeah, big solid
music,
list.
Sonu Nigam, Vishal Dadlani, Amit Trivedi, Sunidhi Chauhan, Shreya Ghoshal, and it was crazy. So many more
Yeah,
artists.
crazy.
And that was my first project with Visionary Luminary, going from doing just what we do for ourselves to suddenly lighting up all of these A-listers. It was insane. And it was the best stress test that I could have asked for to make sure this shit works. And it did. And
Nice.
the very fact that this is so modular means even before the take of a song, I can change parts or segments of it in real time almost. So there's a song called Chela, which will be released soon, featuring Sunidhi Chauhan and Shreya Ghoshal on one song, which, when you think about it, is already nuts.
Yeah.
Two very different sounding voices and different
Voices, yeah.
kind of characters, different personalities, I would say, musically, coming together on this one song with Salim and Sulaiman. Insane stuff. And as the shoot happened, we came up with ideas to light them up because they have this exchange going on. And we made that happen on spot, which I can promise you is not possible with any other method, and still have it perfectly be in time every single time. So this was a shoot very different from a live show, meaning there are about 6-7 takes of each song from 4-5 different cameras. And when you're editing it, you need continuity, right?
Yes.
So if you want to take this part from the 6th take and the next part from the 2nd take of the 3rd camera, it should still flow the exact same way. So every take's got to look the same, right? So a solution like this will make that happen by default. It was insane. Yeah, so the turnover time for this, it was 10 songs, and I had 2 weeks. 2 weeks includes designing the light plot from scratch. There's nothing. There's just an idea. There was this idea of drapes around the set, right? Like huge flowing 40 feet high clothing from all the way from the ceiling, and then there's drapery going on the ceiling and on the sides. And so we had to light that up and build a lighting plot around the fall of those drapes. Meaning, if there's drapes, they cut off lights, right? So you can't have your lights tilt up or down or pan everywhere you want. So it was an insane process. We spent about 5-6 days, went to Bombay, did a recce, spoke to the production guys, spoke to the art department. And yeah, so that took about 6 to 7 days. But then the scale of it was so massive that it demanded that kind of time. So if it was for a live show, I think it would take a little lesser time. And every day since I met Salim sir at a studio, till the day the shoot got over, we didn't sleep,
Wow.
which was 2 weeks and 5 days. 2 weeks prep time, and then we went to Bombay, and it was 5 days. 2 days of setup and 3 days of shoot. We haven't slept. We've been zombies. It was the worst period of time that my body has ever gone through. I am already a lean creature, and I still lost 2 kgs of weight. So yeah, it was not pleasant. But that's the kind of, I told you, right? My name's Yogi, and I like getting things right. That's the kind of extent that I am willing to go, just for the sake of commitment to the craft, to the result, to something that I feel like I deeply owe the people who entrusted this part of the job to me. It comes to me
Like a
that-
work ethic thing.
yeah, it's more than just ethic. It calls out to me myself more than anybody else. I am so invested in how it's going to turn out that I just want it to be as close to perfection as possible. So it was no sleep. So
That's insane, dude.
no sleep and 2 weeks for 10 songs. And one of
That's
the songs we didn't receive until the very last moment. So I sat and I programmed it in 20 minutes without looking at the lights. I was just looking at Logic and my piano roll with custom names of, okay, this note is going to do this to that light, and this MIDI channel, this note is going to make that light go left or right.
That's years of drum programming, man.
That's so that's the recipe of what Visionary Luminary does. This system makes lights musical. So I am doing lights. I am designing the entire gig on piano roll. It's musical. I am treating it as if it were music. So the results are insane. They are very geared to music. So yeah, ideally I would say
That's fucking wild.
list to prep for, which is about 15 songs, or say 75
Yeah,
minutes.
10. Yeah.
It would take me about 2 to 3 weeks at least to not kill myself and still do justice.
Fair enough, man.
Fair enough.
So, like, trying to take away the emphasis from the technical aspects. This is a very important question that I think I have to ask you is what is your definition of progressive music? Because you grew up in a classical household where, like Indian classical music is literally just prog, with its all different modulations and the conical thing that goes. And I mean, my mom listens to bhajans that are in Phrygian. So, like, is that prog? Probably, like, in the technical sense, not. So, like, that's why I'm asking you, like, what is your definition of prog music?
Okay, prog music for me is music that isn't governed by a set of rules. There is no real motivation for anyone to stick to a circumference of sorts and not exceed them. So that to me is prog music. So I don't think Carnatic music is prog. They are very, very bound by the limits of the rag or the raga that a piece is performed in. It is frowned upon to deviate from those notes, even if you feel like. They have very strict rules on, like Hindustani music has strict rules on what is the most important note in this scale. Like a rag might have the madhyam as the highlighted note, and then
like
they have
tonal center.
Huh?
Like a tonal center.
It's just the one that you're supposed to build stuff around. It's the one that that is the most highlighted note. That is supposed to be the most highlighted note, and then there's a secondary highlight as well. So there's a lot of stuff like that. There's something called Gana Samai, which is what time this raga should be sung in and all of that. So
yeah, I know that.
Yeah, while it makes sense, it's a construct where you're supposed to stick to exactly those boundaries. And there is still room to do so much within those boundaries, and that itself is a challenge. And that's why it's very academic. It's the reason it's considered a strong foundation is because while it limits you, it makes you so much stronger in exploring it to depth, to a point where you can't anymore. That one particular frame of notes, how much can you do with it? And then there are these exponents in classical music who show up, improvise everything. Most classical concerts are 85% improv. It's all happening on spot. They're creating stuff. It's not prepared, right? And they explore it, and they take you on this beautiful journey of every single rag, and you finally get to experience the positivity of those rules, why they exist, or them not deviating and still creating so many different possibilities from within those boundaries is incredible. So while that exists, it's just not prog, according to me. They still stick to a time signature, and they still stick to a rag. They still stick. Basically, it's a scale. Prog to me is moving away from barriers, moving away from any kind of construct, any kind of rules. And prog to me is also defined by a very weird thing. I could, in most cases of prog music, I could pay attention to so many different things. Like I could go one round of listening to a song, listening to just the guitars. It'll make sense. I could go one round of listening just to the vocals. It's going to make sense. I could go one round listening to just the drums, and it's going to make sense. So that to me is another beautiful element of prog, where there are so many intricacies involved in the arrangements of all of these different elements in the music itself. And yeah, so I do it so much when I listen to prog music, and more often than not, it's very exclusive to prog. You can't do the same with most other music, where you just listen to that one thing. There's always a focus element, and then it's built around that. But with prog, I feel like, man, it's insane. It does come together, but it's not all the time that there is something you're supposed to focus on. You can focus on any different element and it makes sense. And that to me is a very beautiful thing about prog music.
Sorry, dude. Yogi, my question to you is one of mentors. I think for anyone to get anywhere in life, there are a certain number of mentors that guide them through certain aspects of whether it's creative, whether it's tech, whether it's marketing. I've had my own fair share of mentors that have helped me become the person I am today. Who are these mentors for you? You started off with your mom as your biggest one in the start.
Yeah. I've had my mom impart so much knowledge to me. I've had Pandit Anand Bhagwat, who taught me Hindustani music. But ever since then, I've actively tried to step away from consciously being affected or inspired by too many different things, because there's so many things that are great. Each one in its own sense is going to give you something useful that you can learn so much from. And that always happens subconsciously, which is another reason why I don't listen to too much music. It is going to find its way into my own music eventually. So if you were to show me a song, I would listen to it, yes, and I would appreciate it. Would I go back to it too many times? It's addictive, man. Music is addictive.
Yeah.
Music is incredibly addictive, because when you like it and your brain craves for it, and it's a great feeling almost every single time. Like I get goosebumps from, say, Galia Social. So, and I can't stop myself from listening to those fuckers. Like it's annoying. Like I love it so much. The album, even pre-album, even their Candy Rat,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
insane. So that's one of the things that I've given into. I just can't not listen to it. But yeah, you get it right. So it eventually it's going to find its way into your music. Like a part of Relentless, I see Galia Social in it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, there's
I can
this.
hear it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. So
yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
And so for the second half of my life, that I've 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 lived about 30 years now. And when I was 15 is when
Wow.
Saregamapa happened, and I went to my judge, who's done so much in his own career and who's very famous in the Kannada industry. And I went and told him, "Sir, this is great. This is amazing, but I don't see myself doing this. I don't enjoy the hierarchy. I don't enjoy the system that's in place where, the singer is all you care about, the music director is all you care about, and then you have all of these lovely musicians put on one corner, and no one really gives a fuck, and they're paid ball sacks. They're not paid very, very well. And I don't enjoy that hierarchy very much. So I went and told him, I don't see myself doing this. And he said, you should do this. You're meant for this. Your mom's been doing my mom's played for 150 Kannada movies. And he's like, you come from this, you should respect that, and you should do this. I'm like, I I just can't, because I don't enjoy it. I don't take it, does not inspire me. I don't like it. So I've learned so much from so many people on the internet, all of whom I think I can consider my mentors. There's Jordan Valeriot, for example, who
Yeah.
runs hardcore mixing, and I've seen his videos. I enjoy it. There's so many creators like that. Nolly, then there's Simon Grove. I respect them. Like I feel like I don't even know their processes, but just by virtue of the fact that I can tell things by listening, okay, this is happening here, this is happening here, they're already my mentors. They've already taught me just by virtue of their work being out there for me to listen to. And I've spoken to Simon Grove when he was here. I asked him, what the fuck do you do to your kick drum? Why does it sound so good? Why does it sound so good? It sounds like so nice, so nice. Like it doesn't sound over the top. It's not clicky, it's not boomy, it's not. Yeah. And then he told me how he does it, and he's a mentor now. So I've had so many of them in my life. I watched when I started getting into live sound mixing. All I did was show up to gigs. That's all I did. I showed up to gigs and I stood behind. I went to FOH. I stood behind and I said, "Can I watch you work? I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to ask you shit. I'm not going to say, okay, how did you make this sound like that?" Because my man, there is no answer to this question. So when people come and ask me, how do you make something sound good? How can I tell you in English? Like, how do it's not possible. It's simply not
Yeah.
possible to do that. There is no way to tell you in English how to make a guitar sound warm. What guitar do you start with? What's it going into? What's the specifics of the venue? How do those speakers sound? How does your amp sound? What mic are you using on it? Where are you placing it? What are you listening through? It's impossible. So you can teach someone how to use an EQ. You can teach someone how to use a compressor. You can't teach someone what good sound is. Good sound is learned by prolonged exposure to good sound. It's as simple as that. So I used to go to gigs. Some gigs I hated. So I learned this is what bad sound is. Okay. So thanks to my years and years of exposure to sound, I started to trust my ears more and more and more and more. Meaning, if something felt bad, all I had to learn was how to make it sound good. And that happens through tools. Tools you can learn through the internet. So I just went to gigs. I heard good sounding stuff. I enjoyed it, and I said, okay, this sounds good. I need to get things to sound this way. Or I hated some things, and I told myself, okay, this is not good sound. I shouldn't get it to sound this way. And everything else is tools, and tools were taught to me by reading articles,
Yeah.
people I don't even know the names of. But that's the beauty of the internet. There is so much knowledge out there. When people text me and ask me, okay, how do I do this? I want to start learning audio. What these people do is insane, and I like your mix, and you need to teach me how to do it. I'm like, sure, I'd love to help, but I can't teach you what good sound is. Good sound, you have to go and figure for yourself. Just listen to good things that you enjoy, and you'll that's good sound for you. I can point you to every single resource on the internet that gives you the knowledge of how to get there. That's really it. So my mentors are mostly people that I don't know the names of, and I'm very grateful to them. But musically, it stopped for me after my mom and my music teacher. Yeah.
It's we have extremely different processes, just the way we think, and I'm just like internalizing like my way of looking at mentors and learning from them.
Yes.
I've had consistent mentors through each phase of my life where I pick up like pebbles of knowledge from, and then expand on that entirely internally on my own, and take a leap of faith in that direction and break down further. But yeah, I consistently on a day-to-day basis, like I'm looking at learning LD, learning what it means to be an LD. Lately, and I've been doing the same thing that you did. I go and just look at shows and
Right.
see what well-designed shows are. Yeah,
It's crazy, right?
It's insane. It's insane. It's super cool. And I just did a video like 2 days ago for a band where I did the lights and cinematography and editing myself. Anyways, that's a different story. But yeah, man, it's good to hear a whole different approach and the way you internally process things.
Yeah.
It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah. But I think it's because of that fact that you have such a, through your opinions and stuff, it feels like you have such a great sense of self because of that fact. Because like if you are bombarded with information that's going in 4 different directions, it's harder to be, here.
Yeah, it is. I feel like doing is the best way to learn. Like put yourself in a spot where you do or die. That's how I've learned most of my craft is from high pressure situations.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much you can learn in how short a period of time if everything you are is at stake in those few minutes. I learned my first big digital console by looking at a picture, and I had a gig the next day at NH7 Weekender in front of 2,500 people. I'm mixing this band that was on the verge of being supremely famous. And yeah, I had to do it or everyone would shit on me. And it's amazing how much you can learn if you just throw yourself into the deep end. I still can't swim. I suck at it. I will die. But the philosophy of throwing oneself into the deep end is true. Do not do that to me.
Leap of faith.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I don't know how to swim either. And Manav, you used to be like a champion in swimming growing up.
I used to be an ex-national swimmer.
Teach me, sire.
Well, you teach me LD, I'll teach you swimming. GG.
Fair.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun getting to know how you think. And dude, the amount of clarity you have on yourself is ridiculous. 2 days ago, I turned 20. I turned 24 a week ago, and like a day before that, I was just losing it to Pera. I was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do ahead. So
it'll happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a similar situation. Like I'm in the literally same situation as Manav.
Did you have this clarity at 23, 24, 21, 22, or did something that comes with age? It's like the frontal lobe expands
Bro,
only at
what is
25.
clarity? Clarity is okay. What is clarity to you? It's being sure of something, correct?
Perhaps a path that you can see that I'm gonna follow this down or something
right.
like that.
But it boils down to you being sure of something. Confusion is the opposite of clarity. Like too many options or whatever. So clarity is essentially you just saying, okay, you're deciding today that you're going to do this and you're doing this. That's about it. one like
One day at a time.
I was not a performer back in the day, and I was a musician. I was a guy on stage playing music, and then there was this one show that we had to do at IISc Pravega, one of the very first big shows for Pineapple Express. Very, very first. The first time we played IISc Pravega was when nobody had to give us that opportunity, but then Subhash went ahead and closed it anyway, and he made that happen for us. So that morning I got up and I decided that today 3,000 people are going to love me. Okay, and that's clarity for me. You decide. That's all. You decide that.
I get that.
Yeah,
That's
so just decide. I mean, just tell yourself, okay, what do you want to do, Mana? What do you want to do? What's your calling?
Yogi, on a day-to-day basis, I know what my calling is.
Okay,
Like,
great.
Yesterday, my calling was I want to close this deal that values this much, and I closed it. Pretty confident.
Great, that's clarity for you.
On a day-to-day basis, I have this clarity. This is what I was studying Prog also.
So
I'm
it's
able
great.
to
You just
distinguish my
function.
work.
You just function that way.
But hear me out. I'm talking to my friends over here, and these guys have elaborate 5-year plans set in place. Like, I don't know if it's set in
So
stone,
what?
but it's like, and I'm just like, I don't have that. Am I
So
falling
what?
back? It was just, I don't know, man. It was just me going down a spiral. A night before I turned 24.
I don't
was
have a
like,
5-year
fuck.
plan, dude.
Yeah, fair, bro.
I don't have
Yeah,
a 1-year plan.
Yeah, neither do I, to be fair. So
I you know how I started this podcast? On 23rd of September last year, I was like, cool, let's start a podcast. 24th, I got this mic. 25th, I recorded my first video.
That's clarity, man. That's as clear as clarity gets. You want to do it, you do it. That's how I did Visionary Luminary, and it's a thing now.
Hell yeah,
And-
man. That's
and
awesome.
business is flowing in
Same.
already, and you can make things happen.
Yeah.
Should you, by
Same.
chance, your brain likes the idea, your heart seems to accept.
Yeah. I also think the problem with that, the quote unquote clarity, is that I didn't know Manu was gonna be a part of the podcast. If I had, thought about I'm gonna do this podcast this way, get these guests, etc., it wouldn't have worked out. But I knew what I wanted to do and in that way and stuff. So it just kind of happened.
It happens.
Yeah.
It'll happen. It'll always happen. Why won't it happen? You decide
So
you
I-
want to do something. You will find ways to
Yeah.
make it happen, my friends.
You're right
Yeah,
about
for
that.
sure.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
I have one final question. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for your time already. It's been almost 2 hours, and it's almost 4 a.m. And
okay.
and since you're on the same time zone as us, I'm though very habituated because half of the guests are from America. So like I'm habituated at this time. But like, thank you so much for coming and
It's
trusting.
my pleasure, man. It was great talking to you guys. And 4 a.m. is very normal for me. So
Awesome. Sounds great. So my final question
Yeah, I've
is,
got work tomorrow, but okay. It's cool. Go ahead. That's fine.
what advice would you give upcoming artists and acts in India to grow?
to grow,
Like given the new circumstance and the
I'm
availability
probably
to stuff.
not the best of people to give advice about growth because I don't care for it.
Okay.
I don't care for perceived growth. I care for growth based on more internal markers than external markers. So I probably suck at that. So if you ask me how should I do things so I can get 1 million followers, I have no answer. I wouldn't.
maybe a few thoughts on sustainability then, because I think that's what we
Okay.
have done a lot better.
Again, I haven't focused on sustainability. I think Subhash does that for us more than I do. I focus on getting things right.
Yeah,
So-
because Yogi is your name and you get things right.
I'm it's I think if you do things right, one, you'll be happy internally, you'll continue to enjoy doing what you're doing, and you're not bogged down by, okay, this song gave me these many numbers, I'm supposed to be clocking in these many numbers. It'll all stop mattering to you. your internal process will be so solid that you can sustain it because you like what you're doing, because you're getting it right, and sticking to it. And I know too many people who want results like in an instant. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, not gonna
It's
happen.
not going to happen. It's
It's at least 10 to 15 years before
uh,
you see results.
that's
Maybe
the
20.
higher side of things. But
Yeah.
essentially, this is what I tell people. You're starting school again. If you're starting from scratch, you're going to school. Do you expect to pass 10th board exam in 2 years of schooling? You can't, right? Like, you got to go through all of those things. It's like that. So if you're expecting results that take 8 years in a year, it's doable. I'm not taking anything away from the fact. It's a fact that it's doable. There are crazy fuckers who could invest everything that they have, time, energy, money, not sleeping, all of that into it, and make it happen. You can also buy growth, no? So you can always buy growth, provided your eyes
Generation
are
or
good.
yeah.
You can buy growth. So I think the only advice I have is getting it right and sticking to it, and not giving up when you feel like the external markers aren't up to your standards of imagination.